Woo! What's going on, everybody? It is your man, Big Dog here. Welcome to episode 162 of Doghouse, baby. I started recording this early, and then I realized, oh crap, I forgot to unmute my mic. Because I was going to stream tonight, but I'm honestly... Actually, you know what? No, I am going to stream tonight. I'm going to stream some Mortal Kombat a little later after I finish recording this. But that's neither here nor there. Thank you so much for being here as always. And sorry I haven't been streaming as consistently as I should. I am going to get back to that, I promise. What the hell is going on out there again? Anyway, let's get into tonight's topics. Hey guys, Future Big Dog here. So yeah, I forgot to do a second topic for this video like an idiot, but
Bruh.
yeah, so there's only going to be one topic for this one, just the Dan Schneider stuff. So enjoy. First topic of the night is Dan Schneider. Now, for those of you who grew up in the late 90s, early 2000s like I did, you've probably vaguely heard of Dan Schneider. He is a producer, or I believe he was a producer for Nickelodeon for, what's it called? Before he got fired on abuse allegations. Now, recently, a documentary came out that kind of painted him in a bad light. And we're gonna watch it. We're not gonna watch the documentary. I haven't watched it myself. But there's a video out by Morse Critical that's kind of explains a little bit of it. So let's get into that.
If you grew
Hang on a second. Let's move to the main screen.
up during the 90s or the early 2000s, there's an extremely high chance that you watched some of Dan Schneider's shows. It was like impossible to avoid him. It'd be like trying to dodge raindrops during a thunderstorm. Bruh.
That analogy is hilarious.
Dan Schneider during this period was the king of children's television programs. He made some of the most influential productions like Drake and Josh, The Amanda Show, iCarly. His resume is just stacked.
I remember those shows. Particularly Drake and Josh was one of my favorites growing up. And The Amanda Show also.
With tons of shows that I imagine meant a lot to many of you growing up. And make no mistake, you meant a lot to the creator of these shows as well. Well, not so much you, but your feet certainly did. The creator of these shows is a monstrous foot fetishist, Dan Get in the Van Schneider. He Bruh.
It's not funny, but it is funny. Because, let me explain. Me personally, I don't really care what kind of fetish you have. Keep it to yourself. Me personally, I'm not into feet, but I think that's kind of weird. I don't even like looking at my own feet. What the He's into feet. Let's hear more.
He is a vile, creepy, disgusting human being, and this has been known for years. However, a new docuseries just dropped really diving into this subject matter and putting a spotlight on it in a way that hasn't previously been explored. It's called Quiet on Set. Now, if you don't know what Dan looks like,
I just mentioned this. I mean, this guy looks
like, here's a nice picture of him here. He looks like he was made in the Dragon's Dogma 2 character creator. Bruh. And Dan Schneider has become the face of Quiet on Set. However, it actually explores more than that. It's like a whole deep look at all of the horrible things that were going on during these Nickelodeon productions. It's more than just Dan, but he obviously plays a central role here because he made these shows. He was the head honcho of most of this. And he was well aware of some of these terrible and downright criminal things that were going on behind the scenes on some of these shows. And the reason I mention the foot fetishism off rip here is because that was one of the first things that people really caught on to in the public eye. After Dan's glory days at Nickelodeon, people started to pick up on how odd it was that a lot of these children's shows had an emphasis on feet. Pretty frequently, it was a common thread throughout a lot of these shows, like feet humor and having these child actors and actresses displaying their feet.
Yeah, it's extremely weird. That is extremely weird.
And in 2013, one of the shows Dan worked on, Sam and Cat, actually ran a competition where kids were supposed to submit pictures of their feet to them. Like, that's weird. No matter how you spin it, that's a really weird thing to request from your audience of children, to take
I agree, that is fucking weird, bro.
pictures of their feet for you. That's just downright creepy and wrong. I can't believe that tweet is still up, by the way, over a decade later, and no one thought to delete that. That is...
Wait, that tweet is still up.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
What? Come on, bro. You can't. Oh.
Bruh.
After the shit that he got exposed for, you still have that tweet up? Are you nuts?
is impressive.
Jesus.
But anyway, people started to pick up on Dan's fixation with stompers, and it seemed like his fetish was bleeding into his work, and he was having the children unknowingly participate in it by having them display their feet. That's what it seemed to a lot of people, so it was obviously very concerning. So people did more and more digging. They found more and more evidence of Dan being an awful piece of shit behind the scenes with a lot of shady things going on there. And it just led to this reputation that people for years have known that Dan blows loads to toes Schneider is
Loads to toes. Jesus, critical.
not a good person. And now Quiet on the Set has released, and so much information has come out, not just about Dan, but about that entire Nickelodeon workplace around these child stars. Arguably the largest piece of new information that dropped during this docuseries was the sexual abuse of Drake Bell by someone named Brian Peck.
Oh shit, I heard about this. I heard about this recently.
So Brian Peck was a coach at Nickelodeon whom was sexually abusing Drake Bell, and he was actually convicted in 2004. He spent 16 months in the slammer, and then immediately upon release...
Wait, he only got 16 months? 16 months?
What the fuck?
How? How is that possible? How is that possible? How does somebody that, oh my god. That is disturbing.
landed a job with Disney. If that doesn't show just how rotten to the core this industry is, I don't know what will. There is deep-seated evil in Hollywood.
You know what's funny? Oh my lord. It's funny that Hollywood has been covering up this kind of behavior for years. For years. And now they're all on this bandwagon of Me Too and Time's Up. It's like, you people watched as this nonsense happen to children. And you have the audacity to sit here and lecture us about consent and all that bullshit.
Nope.
I don't want to hear it anymore.
He went to jail for lewd acts with a minor. He is a sex offender, a convicted sex offender. And he immediately got a Disney Channel job working on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. What the?
How the hell did he get a job with Disney? Bro, Disney has some explaining to do. How they hired this guy. Like, once you become a sex offender, your list of job prospects are very low. Hell, I don't even think a McDonald's would hire your ass. Jesus.
The fuck? That's
Yeah, what the fuck?
mind-bogglingly evil. Like that's not just irresponsible, that's malicious. It's not like they just made some kind of mistake where they put a sex offender in a role where he works almost exclusively with children. It's not like they made a whoopsie-daisy, they just happened to overlook that he's a sex offender. They knew. They would have to know, and they still hired him for that role regardless. That's scary. That's terrifying. They're actively enabling a fucking sex offender to potentially prey on more children. Drake also described that when he went into court, Brian Peck had the support of some very powerful and familiar faces. There were 41 character letters written to the judge asking for leniency for Brian Peck. 41.
Hey yo, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Are you serious? Oh my lord. I don't ever want to hear any celebrity or any like big Hollywood executive talked about sexual assault ever after this bullshit.
Letters of support from industry personnel that were trying to get a lighter sentence for Brian Peck, even knowing that he is guilty of the crimes for which he is about to face the punishment, asking for a more generous sentence. These weren't just 41 pieces of toilet paper with nonsensical scribblings on it from nobodies. These were 41 character letters that were submitted by industry personnel, some of whom were high up on the food chain, so these things carried weight. And they're advocating for someone who is guilty of sexually abusing a child. Holy shit. They just viewed it as not a big deal, I guess. Listen, Judge, I understand Brian Peck diddled a child. Who at Nickelodeon hasn't? Are you really gonna throw him away or put him away and throw away the key for that? What about season 3 of Drake and Josh? What actually matters here? Let's think about that. Like this.
Jesus Christ. This is getting dark. I apologize, man. Like, ugh. This is making my spine tingle.
This is crazy to me. It almost stops being surprising learning that Brian Peck landed a job at Disney right after his 16 months in prison for this crime, because it seems like that entire industry just does not give a fuck about the safety of kids to begin with. So like I said, Quiet on Set isn't just about Dan Schneider and all of the awful things that he has done. It's about how awful that entire industry itself is. But once again, Dan Schneider does still play a large role in this docuseries, highlighting the bad workplace and environment that he would cultivate, the weird shit that would go on in like the writer's room and the way he'd treat some people, just a whole plethora of different bad stuff. And in response to all of this, Dan Schneider himself actually stepped out from the shadows, leaving his little gopher's hidey hole and addressing it head on.
I'm sorry. Moist Critical is unironically really funny.
In one of the most painfully scripted and staged apology video interviews I've ever seen.
Hey, it's Boogie. I played T-Bone in Nickelodeon's iCarly. I got a chance to watch the Quiet on Set program, and I reached out to Dan
Yeah, I do recognize this guy.
to see if it was something that he'd be willing to discuss. I'm pleased to say that he said yes.
Oh no.
Dan, how are you?
I'm okay.
The interview is not conducted by a professional, it's conducted by a former actor in one of Dan Schneider's shows, and he is not equipped to handle something like this. This is the biggest load of baloney. Like, this is just some straight up fucking malarkey. There is no pushback from Boogie on anything in this interview at all. It's just strategic softballs designed to give Dan Schneider some kind.
I mean, are you surprised though? Because I'm not. That's the problem. Like, these Hollywood people, they love to protect each other, even when they're doing something horrible. The only reason they don't protect each other is if they don't know each other, or they don't care about each other, or if they don't even like each other. I'll give you a perfect example of this. I don't know if you guys remember when the whole Harvey Weinstein stuff was happening, and he was getting raked over the coals, rightfully so. And then all these other allegations came out about Michael Jackson, Kobe Bryant, even though Kobe Bryant's was not too long ago, I'm not, you know what, I'm gonna save that. I remember not too long ago, and I saw Abba and Preach do a video about this. Oprah Winfrey was gonna do a documentary on all these people that were getting accused of SA, like Russell Simmons, Michael Jackson, Kobe. And you know, she left out one big name in that documentary. You want to guess who it is? If you guessed Harvey Weinstein, you are absolutely correct. You want to know why? Because her and Weinstein were friends. That's why. Listen, I understand protecting your friends. But when your friends do something objectively wrong, you gotta call them out. Or at the very least, you gotta distance yourself from them. You cannot sit there and protect them from shit like this. But again, seeing this, I'm not surprised.
Kind of sympathetic PR win here. where he comes out of this looking better, where he comes out of this like not the bad guy. It's so deplorable that they'd even try something like this with a straight face. I think it is extremely transparent what this is, and I'm happy to say pretty much everyone saw straight through this. This did not give Dan Schneider the dunk I think he was expecting it to. This did not make him look any better in the public's eye. It actually just made it look even more sinister that he was able to, it seems, pre-prepare this interview to mitigate the potential fallout from the docuseries airing.
Let's talk about the massage.
Okay.
Watching the content yesterday, it was disturbing.
It was wrong. It was wrong that I ever put anybody in that position. It was the wrong thing to do. I'd never do it today. I'm embarrassed that I did it then. I apologize to anybody that I ever put in that situation.
Dan, talk to me about
I don't believe you. I'm sorry, I don't believe you.
the writer's room. From what I saw, not cool.
No, and I don't mean to cut you off, but if I can cut right to the chase, let me just say, no writer should ever feel uncomfortable in any writer's room, ever, period, the end, no excuses.
It starts with what's supposed to be this moment of taking accountability. Dan Schneider's just point blank apologizing and, you know, holding himself accountable for the sins of the past type vibe. Except he's really not. Like, these aren't things that you just, like, hand wave away with, like, a simple apology. A lot of what was reported is, like, unforgivable bad shit. Like, there's really no way of apologizing for the things that Dan Schneider has done and also been accused of. So it's just, it feels so fucking insincere. And Dan Schneider got away with it. And it seems...
Fucking course he got away with it.
Will continue to get away with it. So he loses nothing by doing something like this, which just makes it frustrating to see him parade around pretending like he cares now all of a sudden. Like, it's extremely easy for him to just be like, oh yeah, that was bad. I feel bad for that. Oh, what a regret. Yep, not good. Like, it's just, I would have liked if the interviewer was someone that would legitimately dive into a lot of these things and actually press him on a lot of these things. This interview never even addresses the things that people want to hear from Dan on, such as like the sexualization of the children in those shows. Even outside of all the foot stuff, Dan included some very inappropriate things in his programs, such as Ariana Grande milking a potato, and then
Wait, what? What? Please tell me that's not true. That is really disturbing.
another scene with her getting like splashed with water and shit. Like, all of it was very unacceptable and seems to sexualize the child actors and actresses in his productions. And that was never even brought up in this interview. So this
I said it once, I'll say it again. Hollywood is full of weirdos.
interview just, it doesn't have any real substance to it. It is legitimately just a scripted PR play from Dan.
I cut it. I want my shows to be popular. I want everyone to like. The more people who like the shows, the happier I am.
Yeah.
So if there's anything in a show that needs to be cut because it's upsetting somebody, let's cut it.
So I think it's big for you to say with your work, if it's viewed as that today, you don't have a problem.
Cut it. Cut it.
I mean, that's a solution.
The last thing I want to ever do is put any content in a show that's going to upset my audience and make them want to turn off the TV. Why would I?
Stop the cap. Stop the cap. Stop the cap.
If that were true, you wouldn't have done the things you did. Fucking liar. The fact that you put kids through that, it pisses me off.
I never want to do that.
That makes sense.
You're a
This is him
fucking-
addressing a question that Boogie asked about, like, inappropriate jokes in there without getting too deep into the weeds. Just a broad subject of some of these jokes have aged poorly and people look at them as inappropriate for a child audience. How do you respond? The most softball way of asking this question, mind you. And his response was, cut it. Just get rid of it. I don't want it in the show. If it's aged bad and it makes people uncomfortable or, you know, this and that, cut it. And Boogie's like patting him on the back for it, like, oh my goodness, wow. That's so benevolent. What a great solution. Yeah, that makes sense. What the fuck? It's so easy for him to say that now, but it doesn't take away the fact.
Exactly. Like, he can say that now. But why didn't you say that years ago when you were doing it? You didn't think to yourself, maybe what I'm doing is wrong.
That you filmed it. If you cut Ariana Grande milking a potato type shit, if you cut some of the foot stuff that you included in there. It doesn't change the fact.
I'm gonna say it again. That is such a weird fetish to have. And if you're one of those people that watches me and you're in defeat, please don't feel bad. I'm not saying you can't have that fetish, just understand that it's kind of weird. Hang on a sec. Sorry about that, my mother was texting me.
You still had the child actors and actresses doing that shit and were sexualizing them. It still
Exactly.
happened. That's still bad. Cutting it from the final product doesn't erase what you did. It's so frustrating that there's no pushback on any of this in the interview. He just gets to let him say his piece and then get applause for it. It's so stupid.
And when Drake and I talked and he told me what had happened, I was more devastated by that than anything that ever happened to me in my career thus far. 41 of those people wrote letters for character letters, praising him for who he was and asking for leniency, and they knew that he was guilty. They knew he...
This is gonna be a hot take. All those people that wrote those letters and said those things about him, knowing what Brian Peck did, they need to be investigated right now.
Yep.
Right the fuck now.
he had
Somebody
done that
check
to
that damn
some
hard drives.
and they still
Seriously.
didn't. But Drake's mom, a lovely woman who I stay in contact with this day, she came to me at the time and she said, "Would you help me with my speech with the judge?" I said, "Of course."
She belongs to the streets.
That wasn't meant for Drake's mom, that was meant for him. But dry your crocodile tears, dude.
I did.
Seriously.
Dan Schneider's fishing for the Nickelodeon's Kid Choice Award for the best fake crying. It feels super forced and super insincere.
That was great. I need to subscribe to Moist Critical. You know what? Subscribed.
Him tearing up while talking
Just for that.
about
That
the
was
story.
hilarious.
This is him talking about the Drake and Brian Peck case, where
Mhm.
he mentions 41 people wrote those letters and it baffled him. And then Drake's mom actually asked him to help her write her piece, which he did. And that leads me to a question of, if you knew all of this, why didn't
you stop it?
back up Drake Bell? The way
That is a great question.
it's described, Brian Peck had all of these people in his corner, but Drake really only had his mom and his brother. Why weren't you more involved then?
Actually, I'm going to explain.
Like,
I'll
I
explain
imagine that
later.
could have been extraordinarily helpful. But
Uh-huh.
regardless, this interview doesn't do anything to change my perception of Dan Schneider or anyone else's, really, I imagine, because it's still nothing. This isn't really an interview. It's just a PR piece disguised as an interview. It's just more despicable garbage here. But yeah, anyway, I wanted to talk about this a little bit. Again, the docuseries is called Quiet on Set. It's out now. And yeah, just kind of wanted to go over it a little bit. That's it. So yeah.
All right. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say a few things. First of all, I know you guys are probably wondering, well, Big Dog, it's mentioned that Drake had his mom and his brother on his side. What about his dad? Now, apparently, I don't know if this is true or not. I heard this when I heard about this whole situation. Apparently, Drake Bell did not tell his father. And his dad did not know about this until after the documentary came out. I don't know, man. I could not imagine having a child and them not being able to tell me that something like this happened. Like, I'm not gonna. I don't know. Hearing this really upset me, and seeing that bits of that interview with Dan Schneider is really aggravating, because it's like, realistically, this man is a fucking monster. he deserves to be, his life deserves to be destroyed. I'm not for cancel culture, but in this case, it makes sense. I hate to say it. Honestly, and to all those, and like I said before, all those people that sat by and let this happen, all these people that sat there, cheered on Brian Peck, a known child diddler, and then for Disney to go out of their way to hire the guy after he went to prison is mind-boggling to me. Like, oh my god. All those people, like I said, they need to be investigated. I'm sorry, I know that sounds harsh, but for them to sit by and let that happen, and then have the audacity to act like the moral police that Hollywood loves to do, it's so bad. Like,
Bruh.
Jesus Christ. And Nickelodeon, you oh my god. Nickelodeon deserves to fail. After hearing shit like that, they deserve to fail. And honestly, Nickelodeon needs to hold this down. By the way, I'm not trying to make light of this situation by playing that sound effect, but it's the only sound effect I have that would make sense for this right now, other than this one.
What the fuck?
I mean, goddamn, that is sickening. And you know what? It makes sense. It all makes sense. You know, I'm gonna tell you this. Growing up, I would always wonder how all these Hollywood actors or young Hollywood actors and actresses always ended up either spiraling out of control, in jail, having drug addictions. Have you noticed that? Especially these Disney stars and Nickelodeon stars. Look at Lindsay Lohan. Look at the mess that her life has caused. I'm not condoning what she did. I'm not defending what she did. But it all makes sense. It all makes sense. Because you have these predatory bastards in these high-up positions that know they can get away with it, that continue to get away with it, and nothing's done about it. It's just so sickening to me. I could not imagine doing this to a kid. And I could not imagine putting my kids through this. If I would ever have kids. That's another whole situation that we can talk about another day. Oh man. But I'm curious. I want to hear what you guys think. Do you think these people deserve to be investigated? Do you think these people deserve to lose everything? Again, I don't like condoning cancel culture. I don't like seeing people lose their livelihoods. I've been in situations where I couldn't find a job. But these kind of situations, it's kind of black and white. This is one of those days or times where I can look at something and say, yeah, that's fucked up. And you don't deserve to be in the position you are. Dan Schneider does not deserve to be in the position he is. He didn't deserve to get where he is. He does not deserve to have the success he has. And shame on that actor throwing those softball ass questions, man. Like,
What the fuck?
are you insane? Do you not know what this guy is accused of? And how much of a creep he is? Jeez. Anyway, I'm gonna calm down. Oh my god. That's it for today's show. Apologies for getting ranty and angry at the end. It's sickening seeing this. Tune into my Twitch in about a half hour or so. I'm going to be playing some more Mortal Kombat, or maybe I'll do a dual part stream and then, do all that, play Mortal Kombat and then watch a few videos. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching as always. I'll see you next time. Peace. Hey there. Seems like you made it to the end of the video. Congratulations. Since you're here, why don't you do me a solid and click that subscribe button. Also, hit the like button, the bell for notifications. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, join the Discord server, and all that good stuff. Hell, even click my affiliate links if you're feeling up to it. I'd greatly appreciate it. Anyway, guys, this has been another episode of The Doghouse. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.